Yep.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the crypto market update. My name is Allen Wazny, and normally it's X528 is sponsoring this, but Mark, I want to let you do the reins with this. Mark Magliocco with you've got a new name.
Salutations. Yeah. No longer X528, although misleading because my background, Al's background, and my shirt all say X528. But we are pleased to announce that as of this last week, we have we're wrapping up X528 as the project and embarking on a new endeavor called SwapAcross. So we've teamed up with an influencer incubator called the Hourglass Collective. We've got some of the top influencers in crypto. Super excited to be working with these guys. Really, really pumped. Great bunch of guys. Big shout out to Jet, Coach K, Brian Evans. Solid guys. Crypto Psychonaut. Yeah, we got some good peeps on.
Well, they do, Mark. They do that Crypto Gem TV show. I don't know how many episodes they've got.
The next Crypto Gem.
Yeah, the next Crypto Gem. So it's pretty cool. Yeah. Pretty cool. So good. Congratulations on signing up with the Hourglass Collective.
Yeah, the Hourglass Collective. You said you watched an episode, right? Of
we started it, and I was as soon as you bop out of YouTube, you got to go back. So I'll get back into it. I'm going to probably unpack that on LinkedIn.
Yes,
but Mark, so this is episode. We're on to now. I know for the benefit of the two watchers or listeners, this is episode 15 of our market update, and there's some pretty exciting times to talk about the market. And on that note, let's go right to the charts, because I think you do a fantastic. I said this also. You do a fantastic job of unpacking the charts. So let's go right there.
Oh, thank you. I think maybe we should start with we got to get that pre-roll going. But
yes. Again, for the benefit of anybody who's watching, all discussions in this episode, past episodes, and any future episodes are for informational purposes only, and should not be relied upon as legal, business, investment, or tax advice. You, as a listener or watcher or reviewer, should consult your own advisors as to those matters. References to any securities or digital assets are for illustrative purposes only and do not constitute an investment recommendation or offer to propose or provide investment advisory services. So, Mark, with no further ado, let's look at the charts.
Yeah, okay, excellent. Yeah, I mean, it's basically do your own research. We're just here presenting stuff because we enjoy looking at the charts. So it's just a hobby that we're passionate about. Anyway, so getting right into it, just looking at Bitcoin as per usual, because I mean, really, Bitcoin leads the rest of the market. And like last week when we were talking, we said, all right, if it holds at 40,000, it's a good sign, right? Because it was kind of early in the week, so it was tough to tell, but it did hold. So you can see here, on the chart, if you look on the left,
it bounced because it dipped to 40 something during the week, right?
Yeah. So I'm looking at the weekly chart, but if I go to the daily chart here, and it's a little bit bunched, but you can see here, so it's kind of like a little bit hard to see but you see this green line here coming across. It's kind of like blurred with this black line. But you can see the green line coming across here. So, so that's the 21. Yeah, so that's the 21-day moving average. And that's what I was looking at last week. And I think when we did the podcast, it was one of these days, and it was probably this day. And I was saying if it holds at 40,000, which it has, so you can see it's found support every day here. The low has always been hitting the 21-day moving average, which has been around 40,000. So it looks like it's found support at about 40,000, which is a good sign. And now looking at the weekly chart, you can see, and even like I'm looking at weekly, but I'm going to go to the monthly, and you can see it's just like popping. Look at this, like the last 3 months has just exploded. It has just been ripping. So massive bullish signs. And I think a lot of this has to do with those ETF approvals, like those spot Bitcoin ETF approvals that are apparently supposed to be approved in January. So I'm assuming like a lot of this is coming from institutional investors that are now piling in, picking up Bitcoin before these spot ETFs are getting approved. But it's a massive bullish signal for Bitcoin. And I think like you can just see the last like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These have all been like bullish weeks. The last 2 months have been bullish weeks every week. This last week was the only bear week. You can see it's red here. So that just means that the closing price of the week was below the opening price of the week. So that's why it's red. If it's green, it means that the closing price was higher than the opening price for the week. So, and I mean, it wasn't even like significantly less, right? You can see it. So
No.
it's really bullish signals. It's just kind of cooling off a bit here, which is normal. And I think I would assume to like I would not assume, but I would guess, I would hesitate a guess to say that next week probably going to see the same thing. I would say a sideways week, just because it has been so hot. And again, like last time I said that it popped again anyway that week, but
Yeah.
I think we're gonna see another sideways week, probably coming in between the ranges again of like 41 to 46,000, somewhere in those ranges. You know, it's gonna go up, it's gonna come down, but I think it's like just sideways gonna trend up until Christmas. And then we'll see what happens at the end of next week. But my guess, if I was to look into this invisible crystal ball that I don't have, I want to say 41,000 to 46,000 in that
Yeah.
range probably is going to be trading, and then we'll see what it closes the week at. But that would be my guess. But yeah, exciting times. I mean, overall, massive bullish signals, and I think when those
What
spot
is that,
ETFs
Mark? You
get
said the RSI, that's the relative strength index. What's that sitting
yep,
at now? 81?
81. For the week, it's sitting at 81. And it's funny because you can see last week. So look at the RSI for last week. It was 90. And
Yeah.
I was saying last week, when you see RSI at 90 or above, that's like a clear signal that it's been overbought, right?
Overbought.
So you're going to see a come down. And sure enough, the following week, we saw it sell down, right? So there is like some merit to these indicators. I mean, they don't, it's not like a
Hard and
100%
fast.
success rate, right? But there is like some merit to them.
So
So
by contrast, Mark, what is the bot? Like if it's oversold, what would that number be? Like 20, 30? What is the number?
20, 30, yeah. They usually say 70, 30 are the ranges. I think
Okay.
80, 20 is like probably more realistic, but anything over 90 and anything below 20, it's definitely like anything over 90 is like massively overbought, and it's like imminently due for a correction.
The correction.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. And then
Well,
same
it's
with
like, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say, if it's below 20, if it's below
Yeah.
10, I barely you rarely ever see below 10. But if it's below 20, you know that it's gonna turn that stock or that asset's gonna turn around really soon in the next few weeks. So it'd be a good time to buy.
By comparison to the VIX, I listened the other day, I was listening to Bloomberg, and the VIX was
Hmm.
trading around below 15.
Yeah,
And that's
it's
it's a
like 12.
volatility index, so it's pretty low.
Yeah,
So
yeah, you can
stocks
pick
are,
it.
it's a good indication, at least, to get in if it's a more calm market. I don't know, it's
Yeah, it's
incredible. Yeah.
the VIX. It's tough. Like the VIX is really
Well, there
wild,
you
man.
are.
It's a tough one to like play.
Yeah.
You see like this is COVID, right? So you can see like, man, when if you had been long the VIX
Yeah.
when before COVID hit, you would have made a bundle of money, that's for sure. But it's and that's like really it's like this is probably '08, it's 18. This is probably one of these is 08. Here's '08 over here, right? So you
Yeah.
see like these massive spikes is like whenever you see a market meltdown, you'll see massive spikes in the VIX,
In
but
the VIX. Yeah.
yeah. It's difficult
That's
to
interesting.
predict. Like,
I,
yeah.
I haven't played the regular markets since 2017. I've really
Hmm.
mostly just looked at the crypto market since 2017 and just by comparison, 6 years ago in December, it was on its way up to the record. Bitcoin was on its way up to the record high.
Hmm.
At that time it was 19,000 plus. But I'm going back to the VIX, and I remember. So Dustin, he's in Cayman's there with you. And a few years back, he's like, "Yeah, let's play." We did. I played for one time only. I played the VIX, and he's like, he's looked at the price of it. There's some stock or some indicator, or whatever, was playing the VIX, and it went
Yeah,
basically what
totally.
you said, the opposite. Yeah, I can't remember what it's called,
Yeah,
but
I
it
think
was
it's like UDXY.
something
Yeah,
like
it's like
that. Yeah,
UDXY. Yeah, that's it. So you can play the VIX through this. So this is it kind of mirrors or mimics the VIX. But interesting, like what I was doing when I was trading, you
yeah,
can buy options, so you can buy call options on this.
yeah.
And I bet you, like, if you look, well, maybe they're a little bit expensive, but it's kind of like a good hedge if you think that the market's, if there's turmoil ahead, you can buy options or do an option spread using this, or just purchase it directly, right? And then you'll see some returns, but yeah,
Yeah, I was just interested. Like I never since before that I'd never looked at the VIX. So I heard about
that's
it,
such.
kind of. I knew it was volatile, but I actually played the play on it. It's kind of a
Mhm.
it gets it's all of this stuff can be gambling at some point to some extent. But
Mhm.
anyway, any last words on do you have the Mac, maybe the MACD that you were talking?
MACD.
Stochastic.
Yeah, I mean, it's all looking pretty like. I think this is pretty normal. It's like you have to take all the indicators together, right? You can't really look at them individually. It's just like they all tell us together, they all tell a story, right? And then the most
Yeah.
important is like, what is it trending? And it's trending up, right? I mean, you can draw trend lines and people like drawing trend lines, but for me, they're just fucking subjective. It's like you can draw a trend line anywhere you want it, but it's like, you can make it, you can make it work for whatever trend that you want, but it's like, all right, here it's been popping. The data tells the truth itself, right? It's hot. Bitcoin is hot right now. There's no denying it. The last 3 months, you can just see like it's popping, right? So I think it's cooling down a little bit, and we'll see January if those spot ETFs get approved. We're in for a good bull run, would be my guess.
That's really interesting. That'll be interesting to see where that goes. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not, and I think unlike the market, like the regular markets, they always say it's always been built into that. I'm not so
Mm-hmm.
sure. I think there's some, there's probably a lot of people still on the sidelines. The traditional money folks are probably still on the sidelines,
Exactly.
so it could be different. I think I read something. I should have found the article on Ethereum. They're talking about an Ethereum ETF as well.
Mm-hmm.
I could be wrong, but maybe I may have
Yeah, I
misread
think
that.
there's a few that have applied. I can't remember. There's a couple of I think Wisdom Tree or whatever. A couple of those big ones have applied
Yep.
for an Ethereum ETF.
So more solid. You and I talked about some of these. From my own history of plays that have been around since 2017, 18 that might, Cardano, Gnosis. I mean, when those names come up, Stellar, when they come up, I'm like, I'm not pushing those stocks, but I'm just saying, or those coins. I'm just saying they've been around. Others have built on. Obviously more popular, Chainlink and Avalanche and Ripple and so forth. But some of those, I don't call them mainstays. They've been around for a long time. Litecoin, right? You don't hear them in the mainstream news, but they're still out there.
Yeah, and funny that you mentioned Ethereum. So maybe we go. That's a good segue into the news here. So I'll pop this news article up. Oh, wait, sorry, wrong one. Oh, this one. This is the one I wanted. Yeah. There we go. Yeah. So
JPMorgan,
JPMorgan
Jamie
says,
Dimon. What's Jamie Dimon got to say
yeah, I
today?
know. This is it. These guys, like, they're such hypocrites. Jamie Dimon comes out, crypto's worthless, useless, don't buy crypto. JPMorgan says Ethereum will likely outperform Bitcoin next year. They're just
I
like,
just don't get it.
get
It's
your
like,
story straight. Get your
I
story
think the
straight, man.
PR, I think their PR people have got the right. They're doing exactly that because they get both sides of the fence. They're sitting up.
Yeah,
They're not even on. They're on both
yes, you're
sides of the
right.
fence.
They're playing to both people. You're right. But so it's funny. So they're saying, so next year so Ethereum's coming out with a new improvement proposal. So that's what EIP means, Ethereum Improvement Proposal. So 4844. So it's essentially an upgrade to the network. And what they're doing is because I mean, the problem with Ethereum is that the gas fees to settle transactions on the chain are still really high. So what they're into this new, which hilariously is called proto dank sharding.
Yeah.
DeFi degens. But what is actually dank sharding? Before it's the complex process of splitting Ethereum to so they're essentially like grouping the data better into blocks so it like gets more block space. So it's like what they're saying is lower the Ethereum gas fees, which is much needed. That's one of the biggest I guess not barriers, but it's just like the biggest hurdles towards mainstream adoption of Ethereum specifically is the fees. So that's why you have these layer 2 networks like Arbitrum and stuff like the Optimism, because they bundle it better and bring it back on chain. But yeah, so that's exciting. I think I'm excited to see because I really like Ethereum and I think it's in terms of the total value that's locked on chain like TVL. So like all the money like you're talking about where is the money in crypto? It's in Bitcoin and it's in Ethereum. That's those are the biggest networks by far. So Ethereum, I say I'm excited to see like hopefully if they can do something about the gas fees, I think Ethereum's gonna fly. It's gonna really rip it. But until they figure something out with that, it's still gonna be. But anyway, it's a good sign because JPMorgan is saying that.
You go to this one because I saw that it popped up this morning for me. Hackers steal NFTs on the left there. As a curiosity, I saw that and I'm like, oh.
Yeah. Worth from apes to art blocks and NFT trader exploit. NFT trader. Okay, so this is just another. I'm assuming this is like an OpenSea. Probably I've never heard of it before, but it's probably some kind of auction site or something. Um, yeah, it's like it blows my mind. Like, and I was reading about another exploit. I don't think it was OKX. It was another one that I was reading about.
Yeah,
But
OKX was this week as well. They got hacked.
yeah,
OKX
they got hacked.
exchange.
But there was another one I was reading about, and it was like they had upgraded the smart. I think it was OKX maybe. It was like they upgraded the smart contracts, and then there was an exploit. But it's like I don't understand. If I was OKX or like any major organization, like even for us, like okay, we've got one audit done. We've got other people that have looked at it internally,
Yeah,
externally. Like if anytime we're doing an upgrade to smart contracts that has the ability for someone to hack our interface,
right.
spend the like 10 grand and get someone, or even 20 grand, 50 grand, whatever it is, and get it
Yeah.
audited, right? Like, why would you? And then it's
Find the
funny, like
flaws. Yeah, find the flaws.
PeckShield,
Yeah, don't let.
yeah, like
Yeah,
they audited us and they're always like, they're reasonably priced and they're always like the first to identify these exploits. So like go hire PeckShield, get them to look through your contracts, and then you avoid this shit. That's why, like, in my mind, I swear, like some of these hacks are just like purposely staged. Like, if it's like, okay, we had old smart contracts and we didn't get them audited, or that's like, like, come on, like get your head out of your ass, right? Like,
yeah,
this
yeah.
is people's money that you're entrust that are trusting you with their money, and you can't be bothered to spend like 10 grand, 20 grand to get an audit, so you lose millions of your customers' money. It's crazy. Anyway, sorry, that was my rant.
Okay,
But
so let's move
yeah,
on.
so,
Let's see what other
yeah,
articles you have. Thank you for sharing that because
yeah, yeah.
I mean, I it only came up and I saw it
Mhm.
this morning. I got a push notification on my phone and I didn't click on it.
Anyway,
Okay,
so we got Ethereum scalar, so Arbitrum. This was, I heard about
saw
this
that.
as it was so continuing on the Ethereum train. So our Arbitrum is a layer 2 on the Ethereum network, which makes, I mean, basically they bring the fees
And
down
your
more.
X528 or your now SwapAcross is built on. You've got your testing on the
Ethereum and
Arbitrum.
Arbitrum.
Yeah,
Yep. So interesting, and what they're saying, they're blaming it on. I mean, it's always like, I think it's part of growing pains of crypto. And even I was chatting with some of the guys from, well, one of the guys that he's here in Cayman. He has a bunch of Thorchain nodes. I'm not sure if you ever heard of Thorchain before,
I have
but
not.
they're a really interesting network. They have like it's native asset swaps between chains, so like really cool what they're doing there at Thorchain. But he was even saying like, they're poised like right now the network is like great, they're doing well. But when they with this next like influx of users, the next say like 1 million or whatever, 100 million users that are
Right.
coming in, it's going to put strain on the networks and even like their network. And they're trying to like gear up to handle that volume and that throughput. But I think it's just part of like the growing pains of the industry, right? And
Sure.
as
Sure.
more, you don't anticipate this like, traffic to get. It happens in Web 2 too, where like servers go down. Or reminds me of the Facebook movie, if you've ever seen that, the Social Network.
I didn't. I couldn't. I couldn't. I just couldn't stick through it all. I just didn't. It
Well,
wasn't fun. But
well, in the beginning, when he does that, like whatever, he hacks all those like whatever websites for the student dorms, and then they're like
yeah,
the Harvard network goes down because they have so much traffic and they didn't anticipate it, right? And the network shuts off. So I mean, it's like it happens. It's just growing pains. It's part of any industry, right? But they resolved it. But it's funny there. So what they're blaming it on is inscriptions, which I this is new to me. So this is like NFTs, but it's like NFTs for Bitcoin because Bitcoin doesn't support smart contracts. It doesn't support
oh
NFTs.
right.
So they got like a workaround using inscriptions, and then I'm assuming it must use way more data. And now that they've brought it to, they started bringing it
Slows
into
it
like
down. Slows down
Arbitrum.
the network
Yeah,
or the
pretty
chain. I
funny.
guess.
You
Okay.
need to do some more research into these inscriptions, though. I was pretty curious, but anyway, so that's that
Well,
one.
that could be part. So, Mark, that's part of that education piece, right? Like,
Mhm.
it's evolved to the point a year ago, or 2 years ago, or 3 years ago. There's so much change, like encryptions. That's new for me. The words,
Mhm.
staking. That's kind of new over the last 3 4 years. Like, we should go into deep dive and do a education piece, in which that's
Mhm.
such an easy thing. And I told you over that said listen to the podcast last week. David Pacman from Coin Fund Education. The guy over at is it not PayPal? What was I talking? I listened to the podcast. Oh, and Robinhood, right? So he's the
Mhm.
head of crypto at Robinhood, and they've got 100 and some odd million users, but a very small portion of them actually invest in crypto. And so she asked him, the girl from TechCrunch, what is the most important for you? The aspect, he said education. So,
Yep.
words like encryption, you and I can learn about it, but we should share that. We should do some more of those podcasts, Mark, where we do just education. Crypto Mark is going to do some
Yeah,
education.
absolutely. And crypto market, crypto potato.
The crypto potato, you can poke a
Potato.
hole in it, but you never. Yeah, you can put. Was it? Go ahead, Marco. What do you got next?
Yeah, definitely. I think we should start those maybe one every alternating week. We could do like a educational one. But anyway, so moving on. So we got this was an interesting one. Tech billionaires launch fund to create new libertarian societies. So they got a lot of crypto guys in here, aiming to fund network states. So free from overbearing
Oh
regulation. So
yeah,
it's like
yeah. The
a
Balaji
state
fund.
within a state.
That must be Balaji Srinivastawa, because Balaji Srinivastawa is on the cap table of so many companies.
Yeah,
Let's read down, because I think
Balaji
that's who.
Srinivasan.
Yeah, there it is,
Yeah, yeah,
Srinivastawa. So
you're right,
he
100%.
is in a lot. He
Well,
is
he's
in a
saying he's
lot.
gonna throw. I also just wanted to point out that Brian Armstrong has a great haircut. I really
I was gonna
like. I
say he looks a
appreciate
lot
that.
like you, or you look a
Yeah.
lot like him.
So nice. Shout out to Brian Armstrong. Great haircut,
Haircut, or is
bro.
that just a choice?
Yeah.
Is that a choice or genetic?
No, that's a
Genetic
good. That's
disposition?
a nice. I like it. Anyway, yeah. So
What's
it's
that
funny. So
video showing there? What's that video showing in the middle there?
I don't know. Something on
Look
Vice
at a
magazine.
massage.
That's where
I don't know what
the
you're doing,
article is.
Mark. I don't know what websites you
Let's go.
look at, but
This is a PG podcast, so let's scroll through.
not a
I don't know what's
crypto
going on
website, Mark.
there. Vice
Oh,
magazine's happening. But that's why I saw here, Srinivas said he was gonna, I'll be seed investing in every promising company, especially startup societies and network states. So that's why you probably see him in all these cap tables. That's very interesting. I'm curious to see,
we're
like,
gonna
I
do.
should really,
That's Mark. That's what we're gonna do. My one of my future is I'm gonna look at. So it's Balaji Srinivasan. I'm gonna look at his investments in crypto. I'm gonna
Mhm.
pick the top 10, the highest, whatever it is. I'm just gonna pick 10 because his name has come up a lot this last couple of weeks. So
Yeah. I love this concept though. I love what these guys are doing. Need to, so you can see here that he actually even wrote a book on the subject, published a free book online. Might try and give it a read, when I got some free time, but very interesting. I love this concept, and like, even with X528, that's what we kind of talked about, was like it's creating this new, like,
the
not
DAO.
revolutionary, but it's like, like freedom from the machine society that it just gives people the control and power. That's why I love crypto and Bitcoin to begin with, and decentralized finance. But yeah, that's my DeFi plug. So let's continue on here quickly. Yep. Oh yeah, this was interesting. So again, so Ledger wallets had
Oh,
a which
Ledger.
is
Yeah, they've been
yeah,
around
which
for a
is
long
really
time.
concerning. I own a Ledger wallet, and like, man, these hackers are just getting like on another level. It's crazy. And again, you always wonder, like, is it an inside job? Who knows? So a former employee's name and email address, he's a subject to
Showed
a
up in the
phishing
code.
attack.
His name showed up
Yeah,
in the
and like so
code.
they actually gained access to change the programming, which was like mad
Wow.
in Ledger. But it's like, how do you not have checks and balances on this? Because like craziness, man. Like it's just crazy to me that like anyway, especially for Ledger, like it's they had like and that the hacker was like smart enough to get into this guy's thing, get into their code, get in, and
Yeah.
then like push the code, get it like approved, which
Push?
is another thing.
Push-ups? Wait, did you
Well,
say
they
push-ups?
push
Push the
you
code.
say push-ups.
Push the code.
Yeah, it's crazy. But anyway, dangerous stuff, man. You just like nothing's safe anymore. That's what it feels like. Crazy. Anyway, I don't want to take up too much time here, so I'm gonna keep
That's a
going.
good article. No, that's a good one. I want to click on that. Actually, I want to
Yeah,
go back to the Srinivasan, that book, the online book, to see that. But
yeah, right. That
good
should be
stuff today,
fun.
Mark. Really good. You found some good gems,
Yeah, some
hidden
good
crypto
articles. Yeah, it's
gems.
good news week. And then Jupiter. So if anyone uses Solana, so Jupiter is like it's a similar
A
product to kind of
billion
what,
jup. A billion
yeah,
jup.
Jup, billion Jupe for Solana DeFi users. Yeah, it's so Jupiter's like it's essentially X528, but well now going to be SwapAcross.
Yeah.
So SwapAcross,
Essentially,
but
that's us.
yeah, Jupiter stands on they're operating on Solana. So SwapAcross, we will be connecting to Solana, but yeah. Anyway, so if you're a Solana lover, I know I'm in a couple group chats where people really love Solana, and I haven't really dived into it a lot myself, but I've heard a lot of good things about Solana. Anyway, sign up for Jupiter airdrop. Everyone loves free money. Just
Cool.
point it out there. We'll share the link in the chat. Anyways, moving on. Continuing on with Solana. So
Another
this is a hot week.
Solana. Every
Another
time I think of
Solana week.
Solana, there's that song, Solana Una Na.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if you've been hearing about Bonk.
Havana.
This Bonk, this craziness. This Bonk is like a Solana meme coin. It did 837% last week, I think.
Wow.
Gain. Yeah, madness.
Wow.
But it's funny. So like they teamed up with Solana. So Solana actually made their own smartphone, which I also didn't know. So they have a Solana phone. I know someone in like one of the group chats I'm in with people that love Solana, and someone actually got one of the phones because they were doing a Bonk airdrop. If you bought the phone, they were doing I think the phone was like 600 US or something, and then you could get a Bonk airdrop for like $500. So you essentially would only paid like $100 for the phone. But
Nice.
what I heard, the feedback from the phone was like meh. But I mean, it's like, you know, if you got the Bonk airdrop,
I wonder who they must have partnered with somebody to build the phone. I mean, I'm sure that unless they, right? Like a white label. They probably
for
Samsung
sure.
or one of the majors and just got a white label done. I wonder. That'd be good. That'd be good to know about that one.
Cool idea, but yeah, you can see. So Solana dropped the price to 600, and I think you could get the Bonk airdrop for like $500. So it was like you basically paid $100 for the phone. But interesting stuff. I mean, cool. I like.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see like this. You know, now this bridging from like Web 2 to Web 3, right? Where they've got like, yeah, you got crypto, but now they're even making smartphones, kind of like Apple, right?
I'm telling you, Mark. Well, okay. The next one of the news or the funding announcements I'm going to share a little bit later speaks about using mobile phones for validation. It's incredible. They're now going down to mobile phones. So laptops and so forth. That's where the blockchain's been built on, using the free bandwidth on laptops. Now they're going to phones. And then there was something on this before, but this is incredible. So it's not surprising. These things, you know, you're talking about phones and now bringing out phones, and this is,
yeah, exactly. Pretty cool. And then lastly,
Coinbase.
Yeah, back on Coinbase. So
there's
guy with the nice haircut.
There's your brother, brother
Brian. Guy with the nice haircut. There he is.
Yeah, it's a haircut, Mark.
That's right, man. Brian Armstrong. Man.
So what's happening? What's he challenging now?
Oh man, it's so crazy. Like SEC is just like bananas. I can't even understand. Like, so Coinbase had asked them, the SEC, to provide clear and transparent regulations on crypto. So like they want to know like what is the regulations on crypto. We want to know so that we can like abide by it, because the SEC was like jerking Coinbase around. Even if they have, so like I mean you have to understand, like Coinbase is approved. They're legally allowed to trade publicly on the traditional markets. They're listed on the NASDAQ. Like you can go here, you can buy Coinbase stock, which is like, you know, you can buy it on the NASDAQ. And so the SEC approved that. And then they 2 years later tried to repeal it. They were trying to come back and like put on this regulation. So Coinbase is like, hey, no, we just want to know, like, tell us what are the rules to the game, because you keep changing it. And the SEC denied it. They denied them access to, like, they said, no, we're not going to give you that. And it's like, hey, hold on. You want us to follow rules, but you won't tell us what the rules are? Like, it's just like the SEC is just, those guys just need to go. They just need to go and like put an axe to like everyone that's in the SEC right now. Get some new blood in and get people that like actually have a brain, because I don't know what those guys are doing over there.
No, but this is the thing. I mean, this is back to the point of legislators. Legislators aren't experts in that field. They need to rely more.
No, but these guys, like, they're all over the map. They just flip flop like a beached whale, man. It's like, it's insane. You know, they just like get those guys out of there. Get someone that knows what they're doing in there, because like those guys they don't have a clue. They don't have a clue what they're doing. It's scary that they're a regulating body and they don't have a clue what they're doing. Anyway, so yeah, the SEC, U.S. Securities Commission, denied a petition by Coinbase to clarify new crypto rules for digital assets industry. They're just asking them to like clarify what are the rules so that we can follow them. And the SEC said, no, we're not going to give you that. Like, it's just like, man, if that's like gross incompetence if I've ever seen it. Anyway, cool. That's enough of me bashing the SEC, but I think like it'll be a great victory for for crypto and the industry in general when all those guys are gone. When all the SEC guys are gone, and
they're never going to go, Mark. They're never going to go. It's a body that's set up in 1933.
No, I think there's some petition. I saw there were some lawmakers that had petitions to get, you know, like Jerome, like all these guys out of power, right? That's just these guys have no clue what they're doing. It's like if I was, if you think about the SEC as like a CEO of a company, like how many times those guys have flopped and failed? Like how are they still running that company? You know, like who's approving those guys to be in power? So anyway, that's enough of my bashing the SEC. Clearly know my thoughts on them.
Let's
And
go into okay. So stop. Let's go into a few new
I'll share
funding
my
so we can
screen.
wrap this up with
Yep.
some funding announcements.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just still go here. All right. And I'm going to share my screen now, Mark.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So I managed to put together a couple slides. If I could find those slides, we will be set. I need to go to the slides first, Mark, because you crypto potato you. I don't know what's happening here now. You've thrown me off, Mark.
Yep.
I need
you got
to
your
find.
slides?
No, I can't find them. For some
What?
reason now.
No, lies.
No, hey, slide. Flies. I need to get the flies.
Yeah.
All right.
Nice.
Let's go now. Can you? You're not seeing that yet.
Nope.
There we are. Okay. All right. So let's go to the slideshow. Okay. So these are the funding. This is what I found this week. As you know, just a caveat, these aren't all the funding announcements out there. These are just the ones I could find. So that's I want to go. That's the last one. Okay. So Lolly, adequately named Lolly, raised 8 million Series B. So a little bit. They're out of North Carolina, and it's basically. I mean, you literally are just taking your rewards like Walmart or whatever, and giving Bitcoin or cash. So it's consumer rewards app. You got to see the cap table, Mark. And I just threw the three there. Serena Williams.
Yeah, Serena, Logan Paul, and Mr. Beast. How interesting.
So because they're involved, you know, this is what, you know, you and I talked a little bit of influencers, and I think the Hourglass Collective, this is real. Like this is taking kind of some Web 2, but just what's going on, influencers and so forth. And when Serena Williams, Logan Paul, I mean, isn't Logan Paul part of the UFC as well? Isn't he fighting as well?
He's part of the WWE, I think. That's what he's in, right? Yeah.
Okay.
This is interesting. I just Googled their site here. Yeah. It's pretty cool.
So that will be shared. Anyway, just like, wow. You've got who's who on the influencer world and sort of, you know, celebrity, and they're investing in a crypto. It's not a crypto per se, but they're giving Bitcoin. So you have to be tied into Bitcoin. And just the other day, I was at a Bitcoin machine at an ATM in a little shop, and I'm like, gosh, there it is. So Bitcoin is, you know, the price of Bitcoin. It's like they come out of the woodwork. People come out of the woodwork. So,
here to stay.
These guys are Series B. They're quite far advanced. They must have a significant base of customers. I think something like 100,000 users already.
I just checked their website. They got 25,000 stores signed up. So they got Sephora, they got all kinds of Priceline.
So there you go.
Amazon. Yeah.
Okay. So the next one is, NodeKit. I mean, this is Iowa, a little small. I had to look this up, but it's Iowa, little, layer one Avalanche based, and facilitates cross-chain rollups. It's more technical, but allow decentralized rollups to compete with centralized apps. So it's literally just another platform. This is pre-seed, mind you, and it's 1.2 million. So NodeKit out of Iowa, and it's just some coders developing this stuff, and they've got a base and figured this out.
I'm looking at their website right now. Very interesting. Yeah.
So the next one's called Hackless, and I was originally thinking not to look at it, but these guys are out of Ukraine, and hats off to them. In the middle of a war, they're still building, and there's a lot of developers have been in former Soviet Union and Ukraine, Russia. They're everywhere, in Belarus, pretty pop. But you look at these guys, and they're focused on blockchain security. And if you go to their website, they have a wallet rescue solution. So if you lose,
looking at it right now.
If someone hacks your wallet, I'm like, this is pretty cool. I'm like, wow, DeFi, digital asset protection. That's what they offer, and they got funding. They didn't say how much, what level it was, whether it was seed or Series A, but hats off to the middle of the war. These guys are building something very important.
Yeah, stake word.
Now, I mentioned earlier about the mobile, using mobile apps. So these guys, Realtime out of Norway, they won some kind of a European, Web3 Startup of the Year award. You go to their website, Mark, and the amount of applications using 5G mobile phones as validators for microtransactions. And they on their website, it says, or on the article here, zero transaction and gas fees.
Yeah, I saw that.
I think what it was multiple applications, and I'm talking even using QR codes, all on your phone, and it's just this sort of this next level white labeling. We'll do smart contracts for you. I wanted to get to their website. Let me just go to their website. I'm going to share.
I'm on it right now. Yeah, very interesting.
Okay,
yeah.
Let me share the website because I have it teed up somewhere. Let me just tee it up because I'm like, wow, these guys figured it out. Like,
yeah, launch your DeFi lending platform with a white label solution. X physical card.
Okay, so here we go. Let me go to. I'll just share that. I'll just stop after this one. So there's Railtime. So yeah,
very interesting.
They've gone. Look at eKYC, currency exchange,
yep.
QR codes.
No, I was looking at all this stuff. Yeah.
Phone, Mark.
PGP joint accounts. Yeah, this is cool. I like this. I'm very interested. I would like to find out more. I might actually reach out to them just see what's going on. See if we can get a demo or
the
something.
Solana phone. This is where it's going, Mark. This is where it's going. And this, I think the funding came from, or they got support from, if you go to the article, led by the Research Council of Norway. So this isn't like there's nothing on here that says who I haven't gotten to see who some of their other investors are, but you've gotten support, funding approval from the Research Council of Norway. So they've gone, they've taken their oil and gas and they're really focused on, a small little country. This is lending services, payment solutions, loyalty programs, super app, non-custodial wallets. I mean, this is where it's going, Mark. That phone you mentioned earlier with Solana phone, not surprising at all. Okay.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I'm going to stop there. There was an article on gaming. I might as well let me share the last one. Yeah. Okay. So the last article here was Gotcha Monsters. And the reason you and I had an offline discussion about gaming and crypto, right? What does it mean to have a game on crypto? Give me your version because I think it matches very well with Gotcha Monsters out of Japan. What does it mean to you, Mark, for Web3 gaming?
I've never actually played a Web3 game. I just haven't had time. I should get into it though. I like to check out Axie Infinity and stuff and like Decentraland, but I mean, I know you can some of them are P2E, and that's why Axie, and that means play to earn. So that's why Axie Infinity got so big because you can play the game and you can earn their token and you can trade in their token for real cash and stuff. But I've never actually explored. Yeah, I never actually played any blockchain games before. I got to put it on my to-do list.
So there was something I heard a long time ago on a podcast way back when I first got into crypto, and they were talking about how that's when I first about NFTs, non-fungible tokens. He said if you play and you win skins or whatever on Fortnite, that can come across to another. You can use those skins elsewhere. You can use the game, whatever you want on. It could go cross chains. These guys, I was looking for that in this Gotcha Monsters. They raised 3 million seed. All I saw was they're doing the user experience or the experience across videos, anime, comics, merch, and Web3. So I think that's kind of what you and I talked about a couple weeks ago when we talked that Binance or that Ronaldo getting fund. He issued NFTs, but there was nothing else. These guys have a game.
I just want to point out we got less than a minute left, eh?
Yeah. But so it's taking the on-chain, off-chain, everything else, merch, and immersing that together versus just on-chain. Because if I don't know what it's like to play a game online, but anyway, on a blockchain. So anyway, Mark, this has been a fun episode. We really packed today.
Yeah,
so
down to the wire.
We'll continue to see you next week.
Sounds good, buddy.
Good.
All right,
Mark.
Have a good weekend.
Cheers.
Later, brother.